President Dickey, members of the faculty, my fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I want to tell you that I feel honored to speak on behalf of the General and Special Education Dual Certification Program today. This graduation speech has given me time to reflect upon how Bank Street has helped me transition from a student to an educator, and I hope to be able to express its impact on me now. For those of you who had me in one of your Bank Street classes, it is entirely possible that you did not notice my presence. It may even come as a surprise to you that I, of all people, am standing before you as graduation speaker. You see, I am the type of student who doesn't like to speak in front of groups larger than 2 people. Forget sharing in front of an entire class or a packed auditorium. It's not only that I'm not much of a talker, but it's also that I need a lot of time to process and organize my thoughts before I speak. In many a spirited Bank Street discussion, I wished I could speak up and add to the volley of comments coming from my peers, but it seems that by the time I knew what I wanted to say, the topic had moved on. Moments like this used to happen to me in elementary, middle, and high school, and even as an undergraduate, where my inability to express myself made me self-conscious, nervous, and frustrated. At Bank Street, however, I have felt accepted, comfortable, and most of all, respected for how I operate as a student. My professors allowed me to be the listener, to be the one taking notes and thinking. In my classes, I have always felt I had an outlet to showcase my knowledge in a way that worked for me. For instance, when I had to work as part of a group of 4 to develop a social studies curriculum, I found a role grounded in my strengths. My interest in historical preservation and people's deep involvement in their communities naturally led me to becoming interested in the Weeksville Heritage Center in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. I was able to visit the museum and thoughtfully adapt the materials and tours they had available for our hypothetical class of middle school students. As an educator of all children with a focus on kids with disabilities, my experience having my learning needs met at Bank Street became an invaluable lesson. Every day I ask myself, how can I meet the needs of all students in my classroom? How can I provide an entry point into the lesson for both Marco and Grace, even when their skill sets, personalities, learning styles, and interests are completely different? How do I reach students who are struggling more than others in my class in a way that utilizes their strengths? These are by no means easy questions to even begin to answer, but Bank Street has given me tools to use and ways of thinking. Over the past school year, I had the opportunity to teach a math group of only 3 students. You might think that a 3-student math group would be the easiest thing in the world. After all, given that many students across the country are being educated in ever-increasing classroom sizes of upwards of 25 students, having only 3 students to teach is a bit of an anomaly. However, I want to share something about each child to give you a sense of how challenging it was. Nicole benefited from being allowed to explore topics with concrete materials like fraction circles and blocks. For Melissa, being allowed to explore only increased her anxiety, and she needed to know the steps. And for Toby, memory was an ever-present issue. While she could show that she mastered a skill during one lesson, she would not be able to recall how to do it even a few days later. This group provided an amazing opportunity for me to apply what I learned at Bank Street. Through trial and error, we found a classroom routine and system that gave all students what they needed. The students and I discovered together what their strengths were. At the same time, I helped them develop the understanding that they all face challenges they would need to work on. Building both a supportive and rigorous class culture within this math group was an enriching experience, but it also made me think about the challenges of our standards-driven educational climate. Nationwide, there has been a push towards standardized tests and the idea that every student of the same age must meet the same standards. While I believe in holding students to high academic expectations, I have seen students and even family members get lost when standards get pushed to the forefront and students' needs get pushed to the side. At Bank Street, my professor saw me as a whole student. I was able to feel successful in an environment where I felt my strengths were appreciated and also where I felt safe enough to take risks. I hope to keep in mind that it is my responsibility as a teacher to meet my present and future students where they are. They deserve to feel whole and successful, even when something might be getting in the way of their learning. As a teacher, I need to help my students realize their strengths and help them advocate for their learning needs within the classroom. I believe it is my responsibility to advocate for all my students and to make sure that none of them fall through the cracks. While this is by no means an easy task, My studies at Bank Street have prepared me for the challenges ahead. Thank you.